feeling myself, but I stay in my lane. I know you thinking you nice, but you sounding the same. He need to switch up his flow, but I know that he ain't. Shit, maybe he want to and probably can't. He talk a lot, but ain't saying a word. He's 16, sounding like he be lacing his herb. Reggie Rock told me time to just focus and spit. Quit worrying about the niggas abandoning shit. I dropped broken and they told me quit biting your tongue. The way you writing sounded like you forgot where you from. Say you from the hood, but you sound like a minister now. Yeah, I could take it there, but shit, I just like how this sound. I should address some of this drama, but letting it go. Shit, I can't keep playing with you niggas, I'm getting too old. The last words Bone told me I never forget. Quit playing with this music and do it to death. Shit, I came back.
You're now watching the End of the Bench podcast, Build and Destroy, hosted by your man, H-Rap B. Good evening. Shemaine H-Rap coming at you live and direct. Thank you for tuning in to a small program called Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build up the community and destroy the propaganda and nonsense that surrounds our community, the negativity and the propaganda that surrounds our community. Thank you for tuning in. As I always say, if you're looking at this on www.theendofthebench.com, hit that like button, thumbs up. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that thumbs up like button. Or if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up like button. It's important that you subscribe, share, tell a friend to tune in. I greatly appreciate what you're doing. And as I do every week, I thank my ancestors. Who are my ancestors? I am 50% Williams, 50% Pollard. That is Williams, Ligon, and Pollard Whitmore. Those are my parents. Those are the names that combine to make my parents. That's Dolores and John. Without them, there is no me. So I thank them every week and everybody connected to them biologically and in any other way. Again, I am here to present you with information. Today's program is entitled Organized Crime. The reason I entitled it Organized Crime is because there's a criminal element in the United States of America that has its sights set on the Black community. And why would I assume that there's a criminal element? The criminal element that I'm speaking of is not what is called street gangs, what is called the mafia, what is called none of those things. None of those things that are traditionally affiliated with criminality. The things that I'm speaking about is the United States federal government and the leadership in the government. I'm speaking of every member of Congress, every member of the House of Representatives, every mayor, governor, state rep, state senator. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. City council people. No, I'm not. But I am speaking about most of them. And the reason I'm saying I'm speaking about most of them is because these are the people. See, if you don't do anything to combat things, you're a part of those things. And that's just the way the world works in my vision. The way I see the world, if you're not standing up for something, you're complicit in the issue that we're talking about. And because most people in Congress, most people in the House of Representatives, most people who are elected officials aren't doing anything. They have their mentality of, oh, well, they'll never take over, they'll never do this, and they'll never do that. But we're seeing that it's more comfortable. People are more comfortable with their hate speech, with hate groups. I'll talk about a person running for office in the state of Tennessee. They are running for governor. No, running for mayor in a town called Franklin, Tennessee. That's going to be part of the show tonight. Franklin, the person running for mayor in Franklin, Tennessee. This person is literally in cahoots with the Ku Klux Klan. Not the Ku Klux Klan, the Nazis. These people are in cahoots with the Nazis. And the Nazis have come out and said, hey, we're supporting this person. And this person hasn't denounced the Nazis. But keep in mind, when we had former President Barack Obama, he had to denounce Jeremiah Wright. He had to say, no, I'm no longer affiliated with Jeremiah Wright. That's what he had to do. he had to denounce being having any affiliation with the most honorable Louis Farrakhan. But this person is in office, and well, they're attempting to be mayor, and they're running on a platform of anti-LGBTQ, and they're running on also running on a platform that allows her to not denounce people who are open Nazis. Now, if people in our community have to denounce people who are religious leaders in our community, why don't we? Why don't other people, other communities have to denounce open hate groups? We're not talking about people who may hate. These people are open Nazis. And this person has affiliation with them, and she's literally saying they're here for my protection. This is organized crime because when you that is a violation of the 14th Amendment, actually the Civil Rights Act of 1965. Racism cannot be, you cannot prevent people from any potential rights or anything of that nature in this country. That is when you violate the Constitution, you're breaking the law. And if you've organized to do that, that is organized crime. And understand, as I've been saying for at least a year now, what happens in the Confederacy does not stay in the Confederacy. These things are put out here to see if they will catch fire naturally. If they catch fire naturally, if they take off naturally, what they'll do is systematically spread throughout the country, much like a cancer. If it metastasizes, grows into an actual cancer, spreads throughout the body, and then at this point, the country is poisoned. This is what happened in 2016 with your former president, Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump used hate speech to get in office. Now you have a bunch of people saying he's not a hater. He doesn't hate anybody. He's just saying these things. But you know what? I can pretend to be about a lot of things, but at some point, the truth is going to be exposed on who I am. I can pretend to be a nice guy. I can sit here and pretend to be intelligent and well informed, and then somebody comes in the chat room and they ask me an actual question about the things that I'm talking about, and it will show me to be a damn fool. So you can only pretend to be something for so long. And this dude has pretended to be a cool. Oh, well, you got rappers mentioning his name in the song. This is a clear attempt. Well, this is a clear misunderstanding. Me being part of the hip hop community, people only reason they mention Trump is because, for one, they were outside of New York, and for two, if they were inside of New York, they were talking about opulence. They were talking about he was presented to the world as this powerful individual, this powerful real estate mogul who was making all kinds of money, and people in hip hop were embracing the fact that he was able to obtain wealth at an alarming rate. The individual himself, no. Now, you have people who are staunch racists that will make money off the back of black people. They will make money. If hanging around black people, will put them in a position to make them more popular, which will make them more money, and they would just go along. They'll go along to enhance their own image. And so, yeah, you would do those things. Now, you also have some people that won't be caught dead in the zoo standing next to a black person. So, look, if you're foolish enough to believe this individual has your best interest because he's a businessman, I've yet to see many businessmen of his ilk actually give a damn about anybody, let alone somebody who looks like me. So these people are organized, and he made it comfortable. He made people comfortable. He also put racist, bigoted, discriminatory background, people with discriminatory backgrounds in places like judgeships and on the bench. So when these laws were going to be passed, he had the ability. He wasn't even doing. He was a puppet. He was a pawn in the game, but he was able to put these people in place. And when you're hateful and you put people who have the same agenda and you're in the place of authority, you run into situations like they're in now. So this is why I call it organized crime, because they are conspiring consistently to do away with your civil rights. Anytime you are going against the Constitution, again, that is an organized move, and it is a criminal move. It is an organized move, and it is a criminal move. And when you are organizing things of that nature and you're attempting to violate people's rights, sorry, that's organized crime. And maybe I'm not an attorney. I don't have a legal background, but maybe we should start looking into these things as RICO crimes. But Again, that's for Tish James and others to figure out. But my thing is this: we, as the Black community, we continue. One of the biggest things in public conversation is we always say, "Well, the Democrats, they haven't done anything for us." What have they done for us? The question I have to ask. I'm not supporting the Democratic Party, and I'm not here to support the Republican Party under no circumstances. Either party, neither one of them have done us a whole lot of good. When you talk about things like civil rights, they didn't do that because it was somebody in the back room going, "Hey, you know what? We really need to stop doing this to Black people," because here we are 60 years later, they're still doing the same thing. 60 years after the fact, and they're still doing the exact same thing. So this wasn't a crisis of conscience, and people woke up one day. We put pressure on them. We started to wake up, and they realized you have to give them something, or else we may have a gigantic problem on our hands. But the question I do have is this: at what point do we, as a Black community, ask for something? I see people on TV, good brother by the name of Tariq Nasheed, good brother by the name of Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson. I see all these brothers saying, "Hey, man, what have they done for us?" And the pushback, and the only piece of pushback I have is, what have we asked for? See, it's easy to say, "Hey, man, they don't do anything for us." Now, if you never asked for anything, don't say what someone has ever haven't done for you. The problem is always this: hey, man, the Black community, for example, the Black community, we keep getting left behind. All these other groups in front of us, the immigrants, they're in front of us. The people at the border, they're in front of us. The LGBTQ, they're in front of us. This person and that person, they're in front of us. The problem is this: they have organization. If you don't have organization and asking for something, how can you say that nothing has been done for you? I'm going to appeal to the men on this segment. One of the most common issues that men when I'm around the brothers and we laughing and joking, or we even complaining about our significant others. Now she expect me to read her mind. One of the greatest arguments we have is, you should know what's wrong with me. We traditionally go, "Oh, here we go again." But that's what the Black community is doing right now. The Democratic Party hasn't done anything for us. What did you ask for? Well, they know what's wrong. It doesn't work that way. You must organize. And when you organize, you have the ability to attack an issue or several issues, or have a community be healed. If we're waiting on people to figure out what's wrong with us and then give us what's wrong with us, that means you'd have been waiting. Why didn't we just wait for them to end slavery? Would have never happened. Why don't we just wait for them to end Jim Crow? Would have never happened. Why did you just wait for them to end discrimination? It would have never happened. Why didn't you just wait for the voting? It wouldn't have happened. You had to have people like A. Philip Randolph. Well, hell, we can go back. We can go back to people like Frederick Douglass and others, A. Philip Randolph, Ralph Bunche, so forth and so on. And we can matriculate through his history to this very day. And that's how you get things resolved. You must take action. You must present these actions to the powers that be, and you must have the ability to take action, to follow, to enact the action that you have threatened to take. In a capitalist society, the greatest power that you have is the power of your dollar. You've heard, I don't know if you guys heard it, but I've heard people from other countries who run companies and things of that nature. I've heard them step out and say, what we need to do is increase unemployment. When we increase unemployment, the employees will realize they need us instead of us needing them. See, this is what we're fighting against. And again, everything that I do ties into the previous week. The previous week, I told you, people, if we start creating our own lanes, we won't need other people's lanes. So when a person like this European man got on television and said we need to increase unemployment, and when we increase unemployment, the poverty line will increase, and when the poverty line increases, they will suffer, and when they suffer, inflation goes up, and they'll suffer, and then when they suffer, they'll come to us and realize that they need us for jobs, not us needing them. That's the problem. See, one of the greatest tools in a capitalistic society is buying in bulk. As I've stated in previous weeks, if we start buying in bulk, when you buy in bulk, at that point you get a lower price. You get a lower price, you get a better deal. You get a better deal, you can spread the wealth. At some point, we must start saying, do we need emancipation or do we need the bag? Do we need freedom or do we need the bag? We must stop leaning on other people to supply us with everything. Integration has done us a true injustice. A lot of people will listen to me and go, see, that's your problem. Black people always talk about moving away. But look, don't ask me to join something. Do not ask me to join something only so it can benefit you, so you can eat, so you can feed your children, so you can put your children through college, so you can pass down generational wealth to 10, 11, 12 generations down the road. Don't ask me for my assistance if my assistance only allows you to continue to abuse me. We continue to buy into this. We need to circle the wagons like fictitiously the Indian, the cowboys used to do in those cowboy and Indian movies, and then go ahead and fight this war. Look, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And the one way that we need to learn how to skin a cat is to support each other and not participate in this foolish and this madness. If you're my friend on Facebook, you saw me post a reel today. And the reel was a simple reel. I'm going to pull it up on my phone right now. And it simply says, give white people their culture back. Let's start with holidays: Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. All these holidays are rooted in lies. There's no such thing as Santa Claus. There's no reason for us to celebrate these things. There's no such thing as ghosts and witches. Cupid is not saying there's no such thing as Cupid, some little naked baby in a diaper shooting an arrow when you fall in love. Let's get them their culture back. One of the reasons I posted that, not because I wanted to give all those things back, is because if you notice, each and every one of those holidays has a reason for us to spend money. Every one of the holidays, let's start with January. You have a reason to spend money in January because it's New Year's Eve. You bring the New Year in spending money. The next month is February. The next month is St. Patrick's Day. The next month is Easter. The next month it's Memorial Day. And now they've added Mother's Day, and then Father's Day and Juneteenth. They capitalize on our pain, Juneteenth. Then it's the 4th of July. Then it's back to school sales. And then it's Labor Day. And then it's Halloween. And then it's Thanksgiving and the granddaddy of all, Christmas. It's a reason for us to spend money. Every month they give us a reason to go in our pocket and give them more of our money. We get up, most of us go into jobs that we really don't want to go to. We really don't like a lot. Unless you probably, like if you're in the medical profession, if you're in technology, you may enjoy your job. But by and large, we are not enjoying our jobs. And we complain about getting up, we complain about driving, we complain about driving home, we complain about the bills once we get home, and then we gladly give away the money because we need to show that we have this. These are the things that we need to be aware of. And if we're going to be aware of those things, won't we figure out ways to get paid? I'm quite sure, my daughter being one of them, there are people who participate in seamstress. Your tailors and seamstress. How about this? Most of us are participating in social media in some way, shape, form, or fashion. If you're watching this, it is a very good chance you have a social media page as well. How about this, brothers and sisters? How about this? Why don't we participate in anti-capitalism this year? How about this? This is how you can make somebody in your community rich overnight almost. Somebody is making prom jerseys. There's somebody making a lot of things on their sewing machines. One thing that I see on a regular basis is families taking family pictures, and all of them in PJs. How about talking to one of your seamstress friends or your tailor friends and have them make those PJs? How much money you would make an individual that's just making Christmas PJs, and you can take that lame Christmas picture and everybody smiling and probably standing next to somebody they don't even like, right? But that's not the point. That way that person has the ability to earn. And when you give them the ability to earn, they may have to teach a child or teach a friend or a neighbor. And then it's a business. Now, that's a business. And then that same person can make you outfits. This is what I'm talking about. When you have an attack on your community, you must galvanize the community You don't have to like anybody. That's one of the things that we really need to start talking about. Let's stop talking about liking people and let's start talking about working together, because to work together, you don't have to like anyone. And since people are organizing to do away with us, they're organizing to hurt us, they're organizing to subjugate us, and they're trying to take things away. They're trying to make our children work by lowering the child labor laws. They're trying to make our children dumber and further indoctrinate them into the lies Christopher Columbus Day. The lies that have been taught into the school by removing African American studies and removing advanced placement African American studies and having the materials being stripped away from the children. Why don't we take advantage of knowing that this fight is being brought to us? And since they're bringing a fight to us, withdraw from that, withdraw from anything that we don't need and start buying wants. Let's boycott Black Friday. I know every year somebody says, let's boycott Black Friday. But since you don't want to fund our schools, since you want to take employment away from us, since you want to remove our history from the study from the curriculum, since you want to do all those things to us, how about this? Black Friday, the reason it's called Black Friday for several reasons, but the reason that the propagandized reason they tell you is those are the days in which they've been in the red all year because they have all these goods. Well, let's keep them in the red until February. See, cars gonna sell in February. Again, everything has a situation. You get your tax return in January, and then in January you can go buy some stuff with your tax return. If we start holding on to our money and buying only the things that we need, food, clothing, shelter, and saving, and all of us take that $180 and buy that get that passport and go see some place that you've never thought about seeing, a Haiti, a Dominican Republic, or Brazil, or Colombia, any island in the Caribbean, Africa, hell, Canada, Mexico. If we start going to see things and seeing things that enhance us and not enhance their pockets, maybe, just maybe, we'll realize that we have been duped, we have been tricked, and we do need to do something in order to fix these things. This is how we combat the organized criminals that are attempting to destroy our communities. This is how we fight back. Now, we can always take the Malcolm X, well, the alleged Malcolm X. We can always take the radical way and take up arms and get to killing everybody, and everybody end up in jail, and we destroy ourselves. It's more than one way to skin a cat, but what we need to do is start galvanizing our community. The reason which I want to thank you for tuning in again. For the people who just came in, I want to thank you for tuning in, and this is Build and Destroy. The reason I entitled the episode this week, Organized Crime, is because, again, there are people in seats of the House of Representatives, there's people in Congress, the Senate, there are governors that are allowing this. There are people in city councils that are allowing this. There are mayors that are allowing these things. The latest thing that's been an attack is the Fearless Fund. Most of us don't know what the Fearless Fund is because most of us are not engaged in politics. The Fearless Fund is an organization of Black women that have been in play for about 10 years. They've been in play for about a decade. What is the Fearless Fund? The Fearless Fund is if some of these Black women, like LaTanya Childs, like Golden Brooks, like Teresa Rucker, and anybody else, those just people, Arlene, I ain't gonna say Lane don't like people knowing her last name, Poetic Sense, Lane don't like people knowing her name, it's my dog for life. But people like you guys, if y'all decide to run for office, the Fearless Fund is a group of women who will get behind you. They will check your background. They'll do everything they can to get you in play because they know in recent history and throughout history, women have done a great job in governmental agencies. Tisha James, the sister in Georgia, these are the people who are after Donald Trump are Black women. I'm not saying that Black men couldn't have done it, but I'm just saying these are the people who are making moves in government, who are doing things. You got a Black woman who's going to be running for, I think, governor of California. Mayor of Philadelphia is a Black woman who's the mayor of Los Angeles, California, so forth and so on. Women are making their moves in politics, and these women have galvanized and come together and said, hey, we are going to help other Black women. And now, the Fearless Fund is a Black-led organization, a Black-run organization, and it is for Black women. But they also welcome in anybody who's trying to uplift Black people and do the job of enhancing Black lives. So if you're a white man who wants to join the Fearless Fund, you can join, but understand what you're joining. If you're a white woman or Latino woman or so forth and so on, these you can join, because this is an entity that is designed to, it basically, a high tide lifts all boats. They're trying to lift all boats, but first and foremost, they're trying to lift the boats of Black women. There'll be a few men that hear me and go, hey, what about the bros? Well, I think the bros need to be to create the powerful organization, the powerful fund, or the muscular fund, or the testosterone fund, or whatever the hell fund you want to name it. But maybe the bros need to do that. We're talking about this. The Fearless Fund is a wonderful situation. Now, the problem with the Fearless Fund is this. I want to get his name. Edward Blum. Edward Blum is a former politician in the great state of Texas. He lost to a Black man, and he has been raising hell against Black people and Black organizations since. He's also the dude who spearheaded the affirmative action situation in North Carolina, at the University of North Carolina in Harlem. He is the spearhead behind, he disguises himself as a forward thinker, but he's saying, hey, how can we get a fair shake? If you're doing things for Black people, we should be doing affirmative action and helping everybody. No, because you have a country designed to subjugate people. This country is designed, it is, I keep calling it is a criminal enterprise built on a crime scene. That's what it is. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like what I say, but all I need you to do is prove me wrong. And then as you prove me wrong, I'm gonna get you some of those people who are on those reservations that y'all are always breaking treaties with, or you get some of my ancestors. I can point out some people, my family, who see, I gotta just go right down that Liggins tree and I can find people. I'm 1-2 phone calls away from finding somebody who got pictures of people who were enslaved. So I don't want to hear that nonsense. So if you can disprove enslaved Africans, and you can disprove the extermination of the people who we have brutally called Indians, or they call them indigenous, or whatever you want to call them, or whatever they call themselves. If you can prove that hasn't happened, then it's not a crime scene. But until all those 300 tribes that used to live in this area called the Turtle Island, aka the United States of America, aka North America, before it was invaded by the Europeans, then I won't call it a crime scene, and I won't call it a criminal enterprise. But up until and including that moment, understand this is what it is. Understand that that's what it is. But back to the point. People like Edward Blum, hey man, affirmative action isn't cool because you're trying to take things away from white men, white people. First and foremost, you're taking things from white people because white people, you treat your women like trash. If you don't believe me, ask Susan B. Anthony. This ain't A-Trap. I don't write history. I just read it. So check out Susan B. Anthony. Oh, yeah, by the way, same Susan B. Anthony. I've fallen out with people. Some of my women friends talking about, hey, I'm a feminist. Well, you really don't want to be a feminist. If you do, what I'm going to do is ask you to look up our sister, Sojourner Truth, who had to interrupt Susan B. Anthony and that her crew, who didn't want her to speak at a woman's situation. They didn't want to include Sojourner Truth, and she had a speech, I am a woman as well. So if you think it's cool to call yourself a feminist, I'm going to need you to look up Susan B. Anthony, and I also need you to look up Sojourner Truth, and then you'll find out the truth. But what I'm going to do is hit pause on that, and we're going to go back to Edward Blum. Edward Blum did away with a portion of he did away with a portion of the Civil Rights Act, and he did away with affirmative action. See, when you're starting to do away with things like affirmative action, the premise that you present is discrimination no longer exists. We've had a Black president. We have a Black vice president. And guess what? You also got Black friends, right? Get the entire hell out of here, bro. It doesn't work that way. You have laws set up. You still have redlining. You still have segregation laws. You still have situations in which you won't even sell Black people's property in certain parts of this country. So I really don't want to hear that. But if you want to do away with a fund How can you have a fund to help Black women? Because Black women, they only get 1% of angel funding. That means when Black women want to create a business, they want to go on attack, when they want to do things, guess what? Your rich white friends and your compadres, they don't want to give Black women anything. So you know what rich Black women did? They created an organization to do it themselves. So don't get mad at my people, my sisters, because guess what? I mentioned, there is a situation where the Phyllis Fund, it is a group of Black men that's about to do the same thing. So do not try to create a legal situation to whereas we can't help each other. Again, that's organized crime. When you organize a group of your compadres, your rich white men and white women, and you try to get them together so we can't help each other, you're literally trying to make it illegal for Black people to help each other. Listen to that. I'm not going to help you. I don't want you to learn about you. I want to teach you lies. I want to underfund your schools. I want to lock up your men. I want to kill your women. And if you go to help each other, I want to make it illegal to help each other. So you want to do away with HBCU because guess what? There's a family situation at HBCUs that is unbelievable, and it is a curriculum. There is a culture that is unstoppable. But you want to do that. You don't want us to do that because you don't want us there. Then you go to Kentucky, down the street from when you go to Kentucky University, you got a group of white people talking about we don't want y'all here. But you, everybody in the great state of Kentucky, y'all want to cheer when them Wildcats win them championships and the whole team full of brothers, right? Right. See, you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me not to come in your area. And then when I say, cool, I won't be over here. No way. I'm still over here to redevelop my situation. Oh, well, that's illegal for you to help each other. They're literally trying to make it illegal for Black people to help Black people. And you honestly believe that that's going to work. See, at one point, I used to be anti-civics. It was something I knew about. I just didn't believe in it. Because of my train of thought, I'll give you my train of thought. My train of thought was this: how many men of people gonna help me? So what I'm voting for? Well, the reason you vote is because, just like in the city of Troy, the Greeks wanted to get in the city of Troy. What they do? We're gonna give you gifts, and then they bought the horse and then they infiltrated. And once you infiltrate a situation, you can destroy it from within. Black Panther Party, Student Nonviolent Committee, Coalition Committee. Black Panther Party, Self-Defense, Nation of Islam, Operation Push, and thousands of other organizations have been infiltrated and attempted to be destroyed. But voting allows you to keep the wall of Troy up. It is not going to stop people from trying to infiltrate. It's not going to stop people from trying to destroy you from within. But the wall is up, and we can continue to build Troy. See, we keep thinking about Black Wall Street. And there's nothing wrong with Black Wall Street. I love Black Wall Street. I love Wilmington, North Carolina. I love Peoria, Illinois. And I'll keep naming the same towns every week, and I'm gonna come up with some new ones next week because I'm sick of saying it myself. Make it look like I don't study. But I love those places. Those are portions of history that we really need to continue to learn about, and we need to because they will teach us that when you could do something, you did do it, and when you did do it, you were successful. When you were successful until violence hit. The reason I want to repeat the history of Black Wall Street and those places that we rebuilt, and we need to start building Black Troy, ebony Troys, or we need to start rebuilding the Ethiopias of the world, or we need to start building those places. It's because those places created a wall of defense. When you create a wall of defense, it slows down the enemy. And all you need to do is slow down the enemy because, like I keep telling you, evil has one game plan. It may come at you from a different way. If I shoot an arrow straight up in there, and it'll go straight up and then come down and still kill you. The goal is to kill you. But when you create a defense around this thing, it makes it harder. You can see your enemies coming. When you have a wall 50 feet high, you have made of 100 feet, 100 foot or 200 foot width in diameter, width in defense. So they got to drill through the wall 100 feet, and you got to go 50 to 200 feet in the air. It's harder to get at you. But see, when we don't have a wall of defense up, and they were easy targets. And am I asking us to build a city with an actual wall, speaking metaphorically? No, I'm not. But we must address the situation that is upon us. City of Chicago, just imagine. I've had this conversation with several friends. It takes about 5,000 people to move to Harvey, Midlothian, Polson, those small towns, or Bellwood, Maywood. We go to Bellwood and Maywood. Just imagine. 5,000 people leave the west side of Chicago. 5,000 people leave the south side of Chicago. We all move to Harvey. We all move to Bellwood and Maywood, Hillside, Midlothian. We hit those three towns. Working class people, hardworking people, good with good homes. And I'm not talking about dual parent homes, because if 50, look, all this nonsense about, hey, the black man ain't in the home, but if 50% of the marriages in the United States of America end in divorce, the white man and the Latino man and the Jewish man and the Asian man ain't in the house either. Because half people who get married in America end up separated. So I don't want to hear nothing about my people and I get married. So we're going to keep that nonsense moving as well. But if 5,000 of us move, do you understand that's approximately annually $15 million a year? Do you understand, in a city struggling financially like the city of Chicago, you move $30 million, $30 million out of that budget, $13 million out of the Chicago budget, they're gonna have a problem. At that point, they'll be making inroads so we can come back. We must continue to do those things. And when we move to Harvey, when we move to Midlothian, when we move to Polson, when we move to Hillside, when we move to Bellwood, when we move to Maywood, we move to Broadview, and so forth and so on, what we do is take over the police stations. And then we become the mayors. Then we become the state reps. Then we become the state senators. Then we become the aldermen of those areas, and we control those areas. And that is the defense. And then our police officers are patrolling. And then it's people that we want office. And then we will have our own defense. We will have our own wall, and we will have our own needs met. But up until and including that moment, we'll continue to suffer. But we must, this is when the civics portion comes into this. This is why we must continue to engage civically throughout the United States of America. Because if you don't, you're going to suffer the consequences. My man Pataz in the chat room, and me and him have had literally dozens upon dozens of these conversations, do for self or suffer the consequences. What I'm going to do is show you how powerful Black women are. And I'm going to show you that you learn one thing and you learn it's the first thing, but it's really not the first thing. This is build and destroy. When we attempt to build a community, destroy the lies and the propaganda that's around our community. And this is a moment in history I need you to know about. I'll be back shortly.
"100 years before Rosa, there was Elizabeth Jennings. In 1854, a teacher named Elizabeth Jennings refused to give up her seat on a streetcar. The streetcar belonged to a company named Third Avenue Railroad. This particular streetcar sometimes had a sign showing that Black people are allowed to ride. Back then, the only streetcars Black folks were allowed to ride were the ones that had the acceptance sign. If they didn't have the sign, that meant it was for white only. So Elizabeth gets on, and the conductor asked her to leave. Then the conductor changed his mind and said, okay, but if any white passengers get on, you must get off. Elizabeth's response was, I am a respectable person born and raised in New York. I have never been insulted before while on my way to church. You are a good-for-nothing, impudent fellow for insulting decent persons while on their way to church. The conductor got physical with her, and she yelled at him and told him not to lay his hands on her. The conductor dragged her off of the streetcar, and she climbed back on. A police officer came over and helped the conductor. Elizabeth was bruised up and dirty from the scuffle. When Elizabeth returned home, she notified her father. Her father's name was Thomas Jennings. Thomas Jennings worked directly with Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was his homeboy. So they decided to go to the papers. Thomas knew that Frederick Douglass would have been able to pull some strings to get the word out. Thomas Jennings was a very successful and prominent individual. They wrote about Elizabeth's situation in the New York Daily Tribune. And then they hired a young lawyer by the name of Chester Arthur, who would go on to be the vice president under James Garfield. They took the case to court and they won. Elizabeth won over $250. Today's earning, it'll be roughly around $10,000. So let's salute Miss Jennings. This was 100 years before Rosa. I will highly recommend Elizabeth Jennings' biography called Streetcar to Justice. Click on the link in my description box below. This was Forgotten Black Heroes Part 4. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you thumb.
Thank you. I'm back. This is your man, Rob Build and Destroy. I'm back in full effect. Now, these are the things that we need to know about on a regular basis, because this lets you know that if you can do this 100 years ago, you can do this 60 years ago, you can do this today. See, there's nothing stopping us from improving and enhancing our lives but us. We keep attempting to integrate. We keep attempting to adapt to their way of life. And when you continue to adapt to someone else's way of life, what you do is put yourself in the back seat. When you, as I posed today by one of my favorite people, Kwame Ture, he's consistently known, more popularly known as Stokely Carmichael. But he's taking a brother Ture. He said, if you allow someone to give you a victory, it is their victory, it's not yours. They can take it away from you. And these are the things that we need to know about. When we are in a situation to where we can make a move, we must make a move. What do I mean by making a move? We need to be able to make moves to enhance our lives. Those are the moves that need to be made. Those are the only moves that need to be made. And again, we must create that Trojan horse. We might that wall of Troy, so we won't have to deal with the Trojan horses. How do we do that? When you look at people like Gary Chambers. Gary Chambers is a dude who ran for the Senate in the great state of Louisiana. Louisiana did not elect Gary Chambers, even though it's the third most populated state by Black people in the United States of America. How is it that we control, I think it's 31% of the people in Louisiana are Black? 31% of the people in Louisiana are Black. How is it possible for him not to get that seat? It's because of voter turnout. See, we consistently make these complaints. The Democratic Party didn't do anything for us. The Republican Party, maybe we need to start thinking about Trump. Trump likes Black people. Trump likes Black people about as much as I like getting punched in the face. I've never enjoyed getting punched in the face. I got slapped once by Donald Johnson. Yeah, I still remember that, Donald, 1985, and right outside the Kiev at West House Vocational High School. It was a Tuesday. Yeah, clearly I didn't like it. Me and Donald this summer made peace, but that's neither here nor there. He cool now, but I was mad up until 2023, and he slapped me in 1985. So that's about how much Donald Trump likes Black people. So Gary Chambers, who had a great platform, who had great things to do for people in our community, he had our best interests in mind. We didn't show up and show out for him. Early voting was last week in Louisiana. It was last Tuesday. Homecoming, for whatever reason, Grambling and Southern put homecoming this weekend. And why they didn't have voting booths at homecoming is beyond me, but that's neither here nor there as well. Why in the entire hell did only 1,200 people, 900,000 people are registered to vote, 900,000 Black people are registered to vote in a state with 3 million people? 900,000 of them are Black. And 1,200 of them showed up to early vote. See, these are the things, these are the reasons that the but clause in the United States Constitution is still alive, and it was still ratified last year in the state of Louisiana. What is the but clause? The but clause is this. Slavery is illegal in the United States of America as of 1863. But if you break the law, you can be enslaved. You can be incarcerated. You can be rented out. The state of Louisiana also houses the largest prison in the United States of America. It's called Angola. Guess what they have the prisoners do in Angola? Pick cotton. How ironic is that? The state that makes that continued the practice of you can be put to work, you can be put into slavery if you break the law. They ratified that this year, but you got brothers out here picking cotton in 2023. There's some of our brothers and sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, and neighbors were picking cotton because they decided to break the law. And then you complain about things like that. You complain about the schools not being up to par. You complain about HBCUs not getting funded. And Joe Biden said it was over $30 billion that $30 billion over the last 20 years. And he just went 20 years back. That's $30 billion not issued to HBCUs. So you wonder why HBCUs are running down outside of the criminals that are running HBCUs. I said it, criminals, the crooks, the thieves, the heathens, the chumps, the clowns, the bozos that are running these HBCUs, stealing all the time, just like Ed Morris Brown lost their accreditation due to the president stealing. But beside that, you being underfunded and you still got people stealing. To the tune of $30 billion in 106 schools throughout the United States of America. Do the math. Divide 106 by 30 billion. Understand $1 billion is 1,000 millions. So that's 30,000 million is 1,000. Listen to how ridiculous that sounds. 1,000 times 30. That's 30,000 millions. And then you wonder why the schools are run down. But see, we don't show up. We complain. The Democrats don't do anything for you. I challenge anybody to ever watch this program to write in the chat room, or if you watch it at a later date, share it, tell a friend to tune in. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Thank you. It's greatly appreciated. But I challenge anybody in the history of this program to 30,000 millions. That sounds ridiculous, but it's actually a million 30 times. A million is 1,000. A billion is 1,000 millions 30 times. That's 30,000 millions. Yes. How insane is that? Back to the point. Just what have we asked the Democrats to do for us? See, that's the point. Like at the West Dallas Cookout next year, maybe we need to sit around and start talking about what we need to ask the Governor Pritzker to do, Mayor Johnson to do, the manager of the mayor of Chicago to do, the city council of Chicago to do, the state representative of Chicago of Illinois to do, the state senators of Chicago. It's a couple hundred of us there every year. Big turnout, wonderful situation. I haven't missed it in years. I've never missed it. The only time I missed it is during COVID. But we usually sitting there just laughing, shooting-ish, and having a good time. But maybe we need to start talking about that. Block parties, maybe we need to start talking about card games. Maybe we need to start talking about that. So it's easy to say what they haven't done. We haven't asked them to do. They've done exactly what we've asked them to do. Absolutely nothing. So when the LGBTQ, when the immigrants or the migrants or the Latinos or anybody you want to complain about, when they get what they want, I just said what you asked for. We got what we asked for. Absolutely nothing. I just want people to understand that. 1,300 people in the state, in which probably one of the poorest states in the union, one of the lowest academic states in the union. You got black farmers down there get beaten out of their land, like 40 going north. White farmers get their agricultural loans approved in 30 days. And the president of the Black Agricultural Fund, it took him a year to get his approved. So now white guys are asking for money in March, and they get it in April, right? Just in time to plant and harvest in September, and brothers getting their stuff in November. And then you got to pay the money back to get another loan. Look at the nonsense. But we're not fighting for those things. These are the things that we need to be fighting for. These are the things that we need to be active. We need to get active about. But we're not getting active about these things. We are joining the fight. Well, Barack Obama didn't do anything for black people. And again, what did we ask? Well, see, he knew, but it ain't what you know, it's what you complain about. Dr. King, Ralph Abernathy, Rap Brown, Carmichael, X, They had issues and they addressed specific issues. Dr. King, voting rights, Malcolm X, civil rights, human rights, and things of that nature. They complained about specific situations and they got specific situations done in a worse situation. Like they always say, well, y'all got Oprah Winfrey, y'all got Tyler Perry. Yeah. Well, we need to get the hell up and start doing something about it. See, it's easy for Donald Trump to step up and disrespect us and hate us and do it because he know we're not going to come together. Well, they assume that we're not going to come together and do anything about it. These are the things that we must get ready for. Civic ignorance cannot be our crutch. It cannot be our crutch. Healthcare. Look, Black people lead the country in diabetes. Well, we need to be getting healthcare approval. So your behind can get the insulin that you need and potentially get the diet that Black people don't, we dying at the highest rate of cancer. 1 in 4 Black people gonna get cancer. 1 in 4 Black people gonna have heart disease. Well, we need health care so we won't die. I got people having heart surgery at 53 years old. And, in a traditional situation, this person, I wouldn't have been able to pay for that. I wouldn't have been able to pay for that. But thank God that person, like she had the ability to pay for it. So we sitting around praying and hoping that she has a speedy recovery because she's going to recover. But what about you? Do you have the ability to pay for it? Do you have the ability to pay for it? No, most of us don't. But are we at the poll saying, hey, I need health care? It has been documented that federal health care wasn't approved because they didn't want Black people to have it. We talking about 100 years ago. We're talking about when FDR was president. They didn't want no brothers to get that. The New Deal that they love to brag about, the America's greatest generation because we were giving home. They didn't give it to us. See, these are the things that we need to know about, learn about, fight against, so these things won't repeat themselves. Because this is exactly what people like Edward Blum are trying to do. They're trying to bring back the 50s. And y'all think I'm talking about the 1950s. I'm talking about the 1850s. They trying to put you back in chains. But see, they already have you in mental chains. Because you believe that we ain't do nothing, they ain't do nothing for us. But you ain't asked for anything. So if you don't ask for anything, you can't complain about nothing. I got friends that, oh man, see, I don't vote because I'm going to do for myself. And that chump been saying that since I met him. He ain't done nothing for himself yet. And I used to be a chump like that. So I'm not speaking as if, man, rap, you got it all together. No, I don't. But I understand what's going on. I got a father that died in the streets about this. I got a mother that used to have conversations day in and day out about this. So that's why I switched to this instead of talking about the sports exclusively. The sports coming back. But this is why I had to do this, because we have to know about these things. And if we don't learn about these things, we will suffer the same consequences in which our forefathers. Look, every generation should improve. We always talk about, well, this community controls the world. Guess what? We have the ability to control the world as well. We'll control our world. That community got a blueprint out there. All we have to do is support each other. That's all we have to do is support each other. That's it. Point blank, period. Put some of these comments on the screen because my blind behind can't see it. Marcus Garvey, exactly. Marcus Garvey taught us this. Educate the people. Thank you, my man Patar. Man, I lost damn inflation 250 back then. 10. Oh yeah, you look. Yeah, that's right. It's a delay. It's a delay. Sorry about that. It's about a 14-second delay. So the people, I'm covering this stuff and y'all don't see it in 14 seconds. But what I want you to understand is this: it's not difficult. I'm gonna show y'all something for the people. I got people who are close to me that have said, man, why you hate this other community? I don't hate anybody. I love you. I don't hate anybody. Franklin, Tennessee. This woman is running for mayor and she is running a hate campaign in Franklin, Tennessee. Don't think that's going to stop there. So you do it in a little town. If in a little town, you do it in a medium town. You do it in a medium town, you do it in a big town. Then you do it in the city. Then you do it in the state. Then you do it. And these people are Nazis supporting us, open Nazis. Barack Obama had to denounce Louis Farrakhan. Oh man, see, but he a Muslim. See, you can't trust the Muslims because they made the Muslims the boogeyman. Okay. He had to also denounce Jeremiah Wright. He a Christian. He has denounced Jeremiah Wright. But you got people running for office who are in line with the Proud Boys. Dude used to be the president. In line with the Proud Boys, with the Oath Keepers. The Oath Keepers is trying to get the Constitution back to the original form. He has to denounce them. So this is what we're being faced with. I'm going to show right now, this next segment, I'm going to show you a little expo. And I want you to understand what it's about, what's around the corner. Y'all, my Chicago supporters, y'all about to be mad at me. Some of y'all going to be mad at me, but ain't never been the most popular guy in the world. Anyway, even my man Patata cussed me out a couple times. He in the chat room, he supporting. He done cussed me out a couple times. But I want y'all to watch this, and then we're going to talk about the mayor of Chicago.
Investigators have been exposing Chicago police busting down doors, pointing guns at children or parents, all during wrong raids. We've now found 51 allegations of wrongful raids, and we are uncovering even more disturbing details here. Dave Savini exposes officers ordered to kill their body cameras soon after bursting in on the wrong people.
Tony Tate just changed into her nightgown when Chicago police swarmed her apartment.
They just came in with guns drawn.
She feared officers might mistake the shiny metal object in her hand for something dangerous, and was terrified when she saw guns pointed at her two daughters.
When he pointed his gun at me still, I had it covered to like this.
Tate's son also had a gun pointed at him, a rifle to the back of his head.
You were worried about him?
Yes.
Critical body camera footage revealing what happens to innocent people as police raid another wrong home. This time they're looking for a suspected drug dealer who never lived here and that the Tates had never heard of.
We were both handcuffed for about almost an hour.
Ouch, this hurts. You're right.
But we can't show you everything that happened to this family because the sergeant in the red shirt, Anthony Bruno, gave this order.
Let's clear cameras. Kill cameras! Kill cameras!
Kill cameras, Bruno told his team, and one by one their body cams shut off. That order came just 2.5 minutes after they entered the home, what appears to be a complete violation of Chicago Police Department body camera policy.
Kill cameras!
Sheila Betty is a law professor at Northwestern University.
Policy could not be more clear. They had to have their cameras on.
And it wasn't the first time Sergeant Bruno gave the kill cameras order.
Doors open, go there, watch the right.
Just 4 months earlier, he and his team raided this innocent family's home.
Please do not shoot me, please.
You're fine.
His raid team terrified these siblings with guns, then interrogated a 7, 11, and 14-year-old without a parent present.
So we stopped selling out of here? We stopped keeping it here?
Who?
Whoever keeps it here?
We never had it.
Hey, just tell us, do you know where the stuff's at? Because if you can tell us that, then we're out of here.
Then, just minutes into this raid, Bruno told them to shut their cameras off again.
If everybody's secure, we can kill cameras.
Both families are suing CPD. Chicago police say they are now investigating Sergeant Bruno and what happened on these raids. But the attorney for the raid victims, Al Hofeld Jr., says neither family has ever been contacted to be part of any investigation by CPD or the Civilian Office of Police Accountability.
I'm back. As you see, the Chicago police are on one. I'm just going to say, be real polite. They on one. And meanwhile, I got my brothers and sisters. Look, I'm not telling anybody what their issue is not a valid issue. I'm not telling you that what you see as a concern of yours is not a really concern because it's your concern and everything that bothers you is important to you. But we got this mayor. We got a new mayor in Chicago. Young brother. Well, he ain't that much young. He's 47, man. His name is Brandon Marshall. He's been mayor not even 90 days. I don't think he's been mayor 4 months. I don't think he's been mayor 4 months. And I've been, I'm new to TikTok, so I'll be on TikTok looking at the funnies, and I'll be looking at Black Power stuff. So they always mess with my algorithm, putting the foolishness in my algorithm, and then, I have to go back, look up because Malcolm X, get my algorithm back, because every couple hours they get me back in the nonsense, right? But I stumbled upon that. And I've been seeing a lot of videos about Mayor Johnson is the worst mayor in the history of the world. First and foremost, you can't be the worst mayor after 90 days. He hasn't even been in office a calendar year. But what I didn't see, and I wasn't on TikTok, but I was on Twitter, and I wasn't on Instagram, but I was on Facebook. And I didn't see a whole lot of stuff on Facebook about Mayor Rahm Emanuel. I haven't heard a lot of things about Mayor Daley, the mayor before that, and I heard some things about Mayor Lightfoot. But it's amazing how we hold Mayor Johnson and Lori Lightfoot feet to the fire, but we wasn't holding Rahm Emanuel and Richard Daley's feet to the fire. How is that possible? Understand, this is a sanctuary city, people. Look, there were I don't know. It was supposed to be 22 busloads of migrants dropped off in Chicago. You got a bunch of people sleeping in front of police stations citywide. Go to my Instagram page at @HRAP_B. If you want to see, I took a picture of it the other night. I just rolling through the hood, and I just took a picture. I'm saying, why you take a picture of that? I just take pictures. That's one of my things, right? But you got people sleeping outside. It's 45, 51 degrees today. This warming, 45, 51 degrees is warm in the city of Chicago, folks. You got people from Central and South America and Haiti. These are tropical places. They're not used to that. They're not used to the cold. Why are you taking up for the migrants? I'm not taking up for anybody. But I am taking up, I'm taking up for Brandon Johnson, Mayor Brandon Johnson, City of Chicago. Don't sit around and talk to me about no damn migrants and you live in a sanctuary city. Who made it a sanctuary city? Mayor Johnson is only following the rules that are set in front of him. Instead of worried about the people, exclusively worried about the people in the sanctuary cities, why don't we worry about these crooked ass cops busting in on our women and our children, our sisters and our nieces? How about that? Our grandmothers, our aunts. See, these are the things that we need to be worried about. And remember, I told you we need to start setting up the city of Troy so people like these clowns won't bust in our homes and take advantage of us. See, but ain't nobody talking about that. We talking about people who were sent here by other people who they actually had the legal right according to the Constitution of the United States to be here. This is a sanctuary country where these are sanctuary cities, meaning when migrants are forced out of their situation, they will come here. We didn't set, Mayor Johnson or Lightfoot didn't set this up. Probably not even Mary Emanuel and things of that nature. They didn't set these things up. These things were in place. This is why engagement counts. See, it's easy to yell at people about what is happening right now. But guess what else is happening right? You just saw what's happening right now. Black women are under attack. So we got the police attacking black women. And 2 weeks ago, I had a guest on the show, and she was talking about how 27% of the crimes enacted against women in the city of Chicago for black women, and we only make up 16% of the population. Black women only make up 16% of the population. How is that possible? And now you got the police enacting violence against our women. Why in the entire hell are we not addressing those things? That migrant thing, that was before Johnson. Don't blame Johnson for that. Well, he should have and he could have. Did you vote? Now, it's a lot of people on here that did vote. Invite them to my program. I had them on when they can speak their clout. At @HRAP_B. Brian D. Williams on Facebook. We can talk. We can have a conversation live on air. I'm welcoming any and everybody. But we're not going to trounce our mayor because they keep putting these kinds of things in front of you. The migrants. What about Paul Vallis, who you almost let be the mayor, who shut down 100 schools in the city of Chicago, most of them in our neighborhood? What about my man, Big Illinois, who lives on the south side, West Inglewood, Illinois? I'm in Chicago. I ain't gonna tell where the man lived, but I've been over there for quite some time. And I frequent the neighborhood. And they done built 3 schools in his community alone. How many schools y'all built in Inglewood, in the east side or in central Inglewood? Not many. How many schools, if y'all don't know Englewood, how many schools they built on the low end? Not many, if any. How many schools they built on the west side? Guess what? This elementary school that my daughter went to don't exist no more. They trying to shut down. They shut down the school on Madison and Central. They shut down school on Costner and Jackson. And if I put, they shut down the school, I think over there, not too far from where my church is right now. They shutting down schools left and right, but they building other schools. Hey, maybe we need to be talking about to what do they call it? The vice mayor or Walter Burnett. He was the elected official in that community when they were shutting down all those schools. Not he the vice mayor or the assistant mayor or the backup mayor or whatever his job. Let me look it up. I'll tell you how to say Walter Burnett. Why ain't we mad at that guy? Because that guy is the guy who I don't like. I don't like him personally. It's personal with me and him. I ain't gonna get into it, all that. He used to be my elected official. I don't like the guy. I don't like the guy. Yeah, Walter Burnett. But why ain't we mad about those things? Our schools getting shut down left and right. Our kids are being underserved. We're being mistreated like you wouldn't believe. And we talking about migrants. Our kids can't read. Deputy Mayor Walter Burnett. We ain't on his case, but we on Brandon Johnson case after being in the jam night. He the worst mayor ever. Really? What about the mayor that sold the parking meters and got some of the bread and moved to Florida? And now they're living with a young black lady. Oh, Richard Daley. Y'all didn't know that, huh? Yeah. What about this dude, Rahm Emanuel, who used to literally have a portion of the city of Chicago budget set aside to pay out cases in police brutality? What about that? But y'all ran Kim Foxx out of town, right? Y'all want to run Kim Foxx out of the state, right? Right. See, we need to be civically engaged. We need to have an agenda. We need to get our act in order so we can stop getting the short end of the stick, man. Or it's another word I want to use. It wasn't short. It was shh. Yeah. But we're not doing this. We're going to kick my man in his head. But we're not kicking these people in their heads. The people who are really screwing us, we must come together, have these conversations amongst your friends and family members, and then get together with little groups, and then put ourselves in a position so we can go fight City Hall. And then we can go fight in, Springfield. I almost said Peoria, in Springfield. And we can get rid of the deputy mayor because he's a bozo. Yeah, I said it. Walter Burnett, you a bozo. Yup. You better be glad I ain't got time to pull up a picture, you clown. But with that being said, y'all, look, we must continue to be civically educated, civilly minded, and civilly engaged, so we can put ourselves in position so people won't do what those police were doing to those ladies. So these criminals won't do. 50% of human trafficking victims in the city of Chicago are black women. 50. So your sister, your mother, your daughter, your aunt, your cousin, they're in danger. We must get up, get out, and do something about this black men, black community. We can no longer complain what somebody didn't do if we're not asking for them to do something. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for always tuning in. Hit that like button, share. Thank you for the 6 new subscribers to the program, to the platform. It's super dope. I really appreciate it. I want to thank the people who give me inspiration. That's Tariq Nasheed, Ghetto Boys, Nori, Talib Kweli, Zoe Williams, Sway Calloway, Roland Martin, Al Sharp, The Hell of the B, Super Dope, Clay Kane, Read Down Your Favorites, Dr. Greg Carr, Karen Hunter, and the Black Eagle, Joe Madison. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is always dope to see you tomorrow. The Chief seeks to be back in his original slot. Tune in, go to Park Bench Media Group, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be on tomorrow. You get a link from me at some point. Actually, I got the link. You'll get a link from me tonight. Park Bench Media, we super dope. We're going to talk about black entertainment and then wrap it up on Thursdays. I'm bringing back Rapping with H-Rap and coming soon to a screen near you. Hold My Beer Sports, hosted by yours truly, H-Rap B. I'm not going to exclusively be political. I'm going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to call some people dumb because they don't know what I know of sports. With that being said, if you enjoyed the show, please tune in every 168 hours so I can love on you and you can love on me.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
And if you can't dig it, all I need you to do is
Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
if you like
Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
if you didn't like what you heard and you don't want black people to win, all I need you to do is
You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you.
and my man Big Mo finna take us out. 2 fingers, 1 word. I'm H-Rap. Peace.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they dying for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for tithes, now it's people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brains. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him 2 to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas, and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth and the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. It's all a game.